Who said you're not good enough? Hey, Pastor Ron here. We continued Real Talk this past Sunday, and sometimes in our lives, I'm sure that most of us, if not all of us, have thought that we weren't good enough, that we didn't measure up, that we weren't as good as that person at this or that person. We just fell short. Maybe sometimes it's because of the way we feel about ourselves, but a lot of times that happens because of what people say about us and how they make us feel. Well, in the Bible years ago, kids went to school, or at least the boys did. The girls were told immediately they weren't good enough to go to school, so they just got sent home. Well, the boys started this process, and they had to started at 5, memorize the first 5 books of the Bible. And when they got to age 11, basically they took this test, and the ones that were excelling, they were told, hey, you're good enough, you get to move on. But if they weren't excelling, they were told they weren't good enough, and they got sent home to become whatever daddy was or grandpa was. Same thing happened from 11 to 17, memorize the Old Testament. They get to 17. If you're good enough, you get told you're good enough and you get to move on. And those that did were actually the ones that became the Pharisees, the religious leaders. The other ones, again, sent home, told they're not good enough. Well, fast forward to when Jesus shows up. And guess what? When he called his disciples, first one, Andrew and Peter, guess what they were? Fishermen. Guess what that means? Someone had told them that they weren't good enough, and they became fishermen, and of course not the religious leaders. Same thing happened with Matthew. Matthew was a tax collector. Well, he was Jewish, so at some point somebody told him he wasn't good enough. But Jesus sees something different. See, there may be people, there may be this, that, religion, whatever, that looks at someone and their mess and their past and says, you know what? All that disqualifies you. But Jesus looks at every single one of us, and he says, you know what? The world may see someone totally different, someone that they don't think qualifies. But I'm the one that created you, and that means that what I see is special. And Jesus is simply calling you to follow him. We all have a past. We all make mistakes every day. We've all sinned and fallen short. But Jesus, he sees a masterpiece. It's just up to us. Follow. This has been a CPC Minute.